It's the very first ever afternoon dose of Dani, Jane. My morning was non-existent. Excuse me, because I slept in until 10:45. Aren't my sunglasses cool? And then when I got up, it was just complete chaos. So I had to do lots of mothering and motherfucking and all kinds of stuff. But now it's hot as hellfire, which we love. No one complains about that around here. So I'm laying out in the sun. So I thought I'd vlog from right here. Lots to cover. First of all, before I get to local news, let me talk about federal government news. And I live in California, so I don't live in the Midwest. There are farmers here. There's also dairy farmers here. I have questions, though, about these reports that I'm seeing about all the farmers. You know, they have no market for their goods, so they are just dumping milk down the drain, letting produce rot in the fields. And I have questions about that. First of all, there are food banks trying to feed people who are sheltered in place and lost their income and don't have a way to get good food. Why aren't you taking your crops to the food banks? Why would you destroy them and let them rot in the field? I just don't understand that. And maybe I live in a little California bubble where the Redwood Empire Food Bank right down the street from me is desperate for food, and people are donating money and trying to get them in a space where they can get healthy produce and stuff for needy families. Well, our country's filled with needy families. I just don't understand the process of letting stuff rot. I know that trucks are moving. Load the truck up and donate that shit. Why would you pour milk down the drain? Those things, I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me. So someone hit me up with the answer to that, because otherwise I'm going to be fucking pissed. More pissed than I usually am. Then I'm just going to say briefly, because I don't want to put too much attention towards this, what the everlasting fuck is that asshole in the White House thinking? That he has absolute power over any fucking thing. He does not. He absolutely does not. He's not a fucking emperor. He's not a czar. He's not a dictator. I mean, he's a dick. He does not have absolute power over when things happen. It's a collaborative effort, and if states want to collaborate, neighboring states want to collaborate and come up with their own plan, I say support that. Don't politicize everything, you asshole. Okay, the last topic before I go local is the testing. I think that curves are flattening, curves are bending, curves are lessening in virtually every state. And we're set up now where the everything's going down. Hospitalizations, ICU patients. I know it's still critical, and I know that there's still potential for another surge. But if we don't start doing wide-scale testing of our citizens, then we're all just like screaming into a vacuum. Because without the testing, we're not going to know what we're looking at and what the potential of this virus is. You cannot test less than 0.5% of people and say that you have any information. You barely have any information. We need 2 million tests a day, and it needs to start yesterday. So now all the businesses that, manned up to make ventilators and masks and gloves and garments and all that shit, you need to start turning your attention to making tests. And I'm not talking about rapid tests. Do the 2-week tests. I don't care. We need the fucking Q-tips to stick up the people's noses and get the testing going. And I am first in line. I don't have to be, but I'd like to be. I'm not talking about antibody tests. Those are important as well. But right now we need to have testing of humans that are living in America that have either been exposed, been sick and got better, know someone who's been exposed, been around someone that's been exposed, never been exposed, just wide-scale testing. And we need to be testing millions of people a day, not thousands. It's just laughable. It's completely a joke. Start testing people yesterday. It's prime tanning time right now, and I really need to get going. So I got to get to my local news. Okay, so our governor, Gavin Newsom, gave a news conference today at noon talking about his plan for California. And of course, we're getting laughed at from every other state. What are you, a fucking nation state? Who does California think they are? Well, who we think we are is the biggest fucking state. That's who we think we are. Facts. And this economy is not a federal economy. It's a state economy. And our state economy can make its own plans, and we are. Oh, shoot, I forgot the other federal thing I was going to talk about. What the everlasting fuck with Ivanka and her stupid goddamn mannequin husband, Jared? What the fuck do they know? Why in the hell are they on an economic task force? What's she going to do? Show us how to sell bracelets? What's he going to do? Stand there with the look on his face like he was just molded out of clay? These fuckers don't know shit, and why are they in charge of anything? I hate their guts. Hatred, pure, unadulterated hatred. They're idiots, and they're on daddy's coattails with absolutely nothing to offer. Okay, back to Gavin. So anyways, he has a plan for us to slowly roll out of this sheltering in place. The plan is 6-pronged, it's detailed, but I'm just going to hit some high notes. First of all, it's not political. He's not getting involved in this political bullshit where the president said he'll decide. Because Gavin's deciding, California's deciding, we're making our own plan. He talked about things like, this is what it's going to look like as the slow rollout goes. Like, say you go to a restaurant and you got to get your temperature taken before you come in. That could be a thing. You go to a restaurant that used to serve hundreds of people, and now they only serve 30. Tables are far apart. You can eat there. Your waiter might have on a gloves and mask. But you still get out and you get to socialize. For schools, he says, schools start in the fall, and he wants his kids back to school just like we all do. Get the fucking kids out of the fucking house. Get the fucking rid of them. Get them where they belong, which is not fucking at home, where they dicker and fight and pick on each other and hate each other and call each other names. No, go to school. So he's thinking this is what school's going to look like. You're going to do rolling classes, like some kids come in 8, and then the next wave of kids come in at 11, and then the next wave come in at 1, and the next wave comes in at 2, and maybe school goes all day, and it's different kind of a cycle, and you're cycling PE, recess, and lunchtime so that you can maintain physical distancing. These are the plans that they're coming up with. And, let's say you reopen a library, and all the patrons have to get their temperature taken before they come in, and you spaced out the areas and the tables and the chairs and everything in the library so that you're maintaining physical distance. Those are the kind of things that are going to happen, and it's not going to happen overnight. And then some reporter asked about, so this starts he's thinking May. He says in 2 weeks it's going to be known whether the curve has been bent enough that we can start doing some of this rollout. And any business that was essential before or non-essential before that wants to be a part of the reopening, they have to have a plan in place that's real. Now, I know Stockholm Construction, for one, has a plan. You don't come in certain doors, and when you come in, you have to go through certain protocols for jobs. You're wearing masks, and gloves are available, and they're going to start doing the temperatures. You got to have these protocols in place, not doing it on the fly like it's real written policy, plans, and procedures. And everyone's going to have to come up with their own to keep their customers safe if you want to be part of the reopening. But let's say that it's in 2 weeks, May the 4th. Not saying I predicted it, just saying I said it. Somebody asked about, Memorial Day and 4th of July. No, we're not going to get to the place where you can have mass gatherings. It's just not going to happen. So forget about your barbecue. Now, in that same vein, I'm going to think about my college graduates' graduation party. Not college, high school. Look, I had her graduate in college already. High school graduation party. I could theoretically have a graduation party for my daughter, and I could send out invitations to the people that I'm inviting, send them out, let's say, a month in advance, and have a guarantee that they've been 2 weeks quarantined. And if they've been in their 2 weeks quarantine and they come to the party and I, do a laser temp on them and they don't have a temperature, I could let them into my domain. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but this is the kind of thing that I heard from the press conference. So I think all of these things are positive. I do think that they're going to take a while, but I think there's essential businesses right now operating that have already developed plans and procedures to keep their customers and their workers safe, and you're just going to have to expand those out a little bit so that it now includes a new wave of humans. So I think about essential businesses like gyms, for example, because, workout people are probably spinning in their graves, or circling their graves, because they really want to work out. So you think about a gym. I got a bug on me, and it's a weird bug. It doesn't want to get off me, but it's still living. It's kind of an icky bug. Get off me. I'm busy. Okay, I threw it down. So gyms, let's say. So you're getting your temperature taken when you walk in. The machines have been all spread out, and they're spread out enough so that the guy running on the treadmill who's throwing his sweat everywhere, Boyd Stockham, is 6 feet away on both sides from other people, so that his sweat, even though he doesn't have a temperature and he's asymptomatic, doesn't get on somebody else, because people that are sensitive to these kind of things could still get infected. Here's my other thing. This is a California only thing that's happening right now, is the tracking of people. And we've been tracking before this was a virus, because it's California and we're always on the cutting edge of this shit, and technology central over here. Is the tracking and finding out where the herd immunities are. And I'm telling you right now, the whole group of people that came to see me in the hospital end of February, beginning of March, I think if we all had our trackers on us, they would know that we have herd immunity. We were all exposed to COVID, 100% fucking exposed to it. Developed minor symptoms or no symptoms, or never had any symptoms. My group right there, and it's about 10 people. I went over the list with my sister this morning. We are a herd that have an immunity. So the antibody test is going to be valuable for us. But before any of that, stick a Q-tip up my nose and test me for COVID. See if I can carry it, see if I had it, see if I can spread it. Let's get in touch with these people. Let's find out who they are. And the only way to do that is, say it with me, wide-scale testing. What is that? Wide-scale testing. What does that mean? 2 million a day. How are we going to do it? Make fucking tests. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What else? Okay, then we're talking about things that are happening as we're here living in close quarters with our family members. I talked about yesterday that you just have to work on kindness. Like, if you can't be kind, then you have to be quiet. But there's another thing, which is you have to start expanding your tolerances. When you're not all home together, or people have escape routes, or people are coming and going and living lives outside the home, you're not really in touch with this. But you have to figure out a way to expand your tolerances. People are going to do things that are going to annoy the motherfuck out of you, and you have to be able to just tolerate that. And I don't know how you do it, but I know that it's an exercise, and it takes practice, like any exercise. You just have to expand your tolerances. What can you tolerate? And then in that same line of thinking, if you don't expand your tolerances and you react to everything hysterically or in a negative way, and by everything I mean actions, behaviors, words, and deeds, if you react to those things in a negative way and you don't change that, you just continue to react negatively, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting from this? What's the payoff? Because if there's no payoff, you would stop doing it. And that's on both sides of that equation. So the behavior that is not positive, what's your payoff? Why do you keep doing that behavior? What are you getting out of that? You're getting something, or you would stop doing it. And then the person that's reacting to the behavior that's not positive, why is your negative reaction continuing? Why can't you stop that? What's your payoff? And then you decide if that's how you want to be paid. Because for me, and this is 100% personal, and maybe it comes with life experience, I don't know, or just the fact that I'm the current and running champion of Mother of the Year. It's hard to say. There's so many variables. But if I'm not getting paid off in a good way, like it doesn't fill my soul, it doesn't make me feel good about myself, that's not a payoff I want. So I stop. I stop cashing that check. And I change my behavior. Not simple, no easy remedy, but necessary. Necessary in this time. So it dovetails back to being kind, and we just have to do it. We just have to be kind. And that's kind in body, kind in deed, kind in action, words, everything kind. Sleep in, take a walk, take your dog on a walk. Look up and see the sun shining and a gentle breeze blowing and your suntan getting darker, even though you're wearing SPF 50 because sunscreen's important. And think about the time when you can get back together with your friends, where physical distancing is not a thing of the past so much, but just like a time that we went through, that we got through, but we got through it together. And again, so fortunate to live in California, and I know this, but the one thing that my governor said today, which I just loved because I know there are people that don't like him, and he said, there are people that don't like me, people that don't trust me, and I need to earn their trust. That's bold. That's a bold statement, and it's so revealing of the man that he is. He knows he's not perfect. He's not walking around all puffed up with pride that his answers are the best answers. He knows that there's citizenry out here in California who don't like him, but he's willing to work hard to continue to try to earn your trust. And I challenge those people who think he's an asshole or whatever, distrustful, slippery, whatever they think of him, to listen to today's news conference with an open mind and make your own decision about what you think about him, not what you've read or what someone else has told you, what you really think in your heart. Whether or not this is a person who cares about every person in our state, who has feelings about every person in our state, who wants what's best for every person in our state, who makes decisions based on information that he has at the time, and is willing to change his opinions and make different opinions when he needs to. And that's actually so admirable. So that's my Gavin love story, although he did have a little flick of a hair that kept flicking out from behind his neck, and I sent a picture to my hairstylist. Don't you just want to take a scissor to that and just clip that little piece off? So to his wife, and I can't think of her name right now, Jennifer, maybe? Get your scissor out and cut that piece off. The guy's on TV every day. He needs his hair to look good. Or else slick it in the back, kind of ducktail it, really make it narrow so we can't see it when he's facing the camera. And then to all the 2020 kids out there, if things go, in a more normalized way, you might be able to get your temperature taken, and graduate high school with your classmates. I mean, that's how I'm thinking. I'm positive. I'm a positive person. That's the way my mind works. So let's go with that, okay? Let's put our energies towards that. He said in 2 weeks, we're going to know what's happening, what kind of herd immunity we have. Hopefully wide-scale testing has kicked in, and we've tested at least 2 million, maybe more. We have some more data. And yeah, that's what we're looking at. So it's an afternoon daily dose of Dani. This Dani is going to go get a suntan. I'm hanging it all out there. There's no one here to see, so who cares? I talked about my body image issues yesterday and feeling filled with self-loathing. That's a woman thing. I'm still going to do that, but I'm going to do that in the sun today. Okay, love you all. Talk to you later. Bye.